As you know, monetary values are involved when making business transactions. Involvement of money makes it important to have adequate knowledge about the basics of calculations. Good day, young business enthusiasts. Welcome to the 4th episode of Business Math for Quarter 1. I am Ma'am Diane, and I will still be your guide in exploring the exciting and amazing world of business math. After gaining knowledge on the key concepts of ratio and proportion, we will now be introduced to the world of problem solving. For this episode, I will help you have a deeper understanding on how to solve problems involving direct, inverse, and partitive proportions. At the end of the lesson, we will be able to review the different kinds of proportion, elaborate the computation of direct, inverse, and partitive proportion, solve problems involving direct, inverse, and partitive proportion. Before we start our lesson, let's have a short activity. How much do you already know? We have these questions that will help you think about the lesson you are about to learn. Are you ready? Bring out your pen and paper and let's get started. Answer the following questions. Write the letter of your answer on a piece of paper. Number 1. Which of the following mathematical statements represents cost which is directly proportional to the number of pencils? A. C is equal to Kn. B. C is equal to K over N. C. K is equal to Cn. D. N is equal to K over C. The correct answer is number 2. What mathematical statement represents the speed of a moving object which is inversely proportional to the time traveled? A. T is equal to KR. B. R is equal to K over T. C. R is equal to KT. D. R is equal to T over K. Correct answer is number 3. The verbal phrase the ratio of a number x and 4 added to 2 is equivalent to which of the following mathematical statements? A. X is to 4 plus 2. B. X plus 2 over 4. C. X is equal to 4 plus 2. D. X over 4 plus 2. The correct answer is number 4. If 3 men can do a portion of job in 8 days, how many men can do the same job in 6 days? A. 4. B. 5, C. 6, D. 7. The correct answer is number 5. If 50 persons can consume a certain amount of food in 2 months, how many months can 25 persons consume the same amount of food? A. 4, B. 5, C. 6, D. 7. The correct answer is how many correct answers did you get? If you got a perfect score, that's great. But if not, don't worry, because I will be here to guide you as you explore and discover the lessons in this episode. In the previous lesson, we discussed the key concepts of ratio and proportion, including the different types of proportions. In this lesson, we will process and classify translated problems to the 3 kinds of proportions. How do we recognize whether a given proportion problem involves a direct proportion, an inverse proportion, or a partitive proportion? Let us determine these kinds of proportion with their corresponding examples. In a direct proportion, it is said that the 2 quantities of a proportion are directly proportional when one quantity increases, the other quantity also increases, or vice versa. We can express direct proportion by using the equation y is equal to kx, where k is the constant term. Illustrative example 1. If 10 laptops cost 200,000 pesos, then how much do 8 laptops cost? We see that the greater the number of laptops, the higher is the total cost represented by x. Setting up the ratio, we obtain the given number of laptops, A equals 10 laptops and C is equal to 8 laptops. The total cost, which is B, is equal to 200,000 pesos and D is equal to X, which is the unknown value. Using the mathematical statement, we have using the given, we will have 10 laptops over 200,000 pesos is equal to 8 laptops over X. From the mathematical statement, we set up the formula 10 over 200,000 is equal to 8 over X. Applying the concept of cross multiplication, we will have 10x is equal to 8 times 200,000, which is 1,600,000. After getting the result of cross multiplication, we divide both sides by 10 to get the value of x. That is, 10x over 10 is equal to 1,600,000 over 10. And the result is 160,000 pesos. Therefore, the cost of 8 laptops is 160,000 pesos. In the problem, the number of laptops and total cost are directly proportional since the more laptops you buy, the higher is the cost, or the lesser laptops you buy, the lower is the cost. Illustrative example 2. 5 notebooks cost 60 pesos. At this rate, how much will 8 notebooks cost? So from the example, we have the given number of notebooks. A is equal to 5 notebooks and C is equal to 8 notebooks, and the total cost B is equal to 60 pesos, and D is equal to N. And then we have the mathematical statement. So using the given, we have 5 notebooks over 60 pesos is equal to 8 notebooks over N. So again, from the mathematical statement, we set up the formula. 5 over 60 is equal to 8 over N. And applying the concept of cross multiplication, we have 5N is equal to 8 times 60. After getting the result of cross multiplication, we divide the result by 5 to get the value of N. That is, N is equal to 480 over 5. And the result would be 96 pesos. What we did is we cross-multiply 8 and 60, then 5 and N. The product is divided by 5 to find N. Next, we have the inverse or the indirect proportion. It is a relationship between two variables when their product is equal to constant value. Say y is inversely proportional to x when the equation takes the form y is equal to k over x. This means that the two values x and y are inversely or indirectly proportional to each other, such that if x increases, then y decreases, or if x decreases, y increases. Illustrative example 1. In an RTW factory, 5 employees can finish designing 20 blouses in 2 hours. How long will it take 10 people to design 20 blouses? So we have the given number of employees. A is equal to 5 employees, C is equal to 10 employees, time spent, B is equal to 2 hours, and D is equal to X, which is the unknown value. Using the mathematical statement, we have, using the given, we have 10 employees over 5 employees is equal to 2 hours over X. From the mathematical statement, we set up the formula. 10 over 5 is equal to 2 over X. Applying the concept of cross multiplication, we have 10x is equal to 5 times 2, which is equal to 10. After getting the result of cross multiplication, we divide both sides by 10 to get the value of x. So that is 10x over 10 is equal to 10 over 10. And then we have x is equal to 10 over 10, and the result is that x is equal to 1 hour. In the problem, the number of employees and time to finish the job are inversely or indirectly proportional, since the more employees you hire, the lesser the time spent to finish the job. Illustrative example 2. 15 workers can complete a road construction in 7 days. How many workers will be required to complete the road in 3 days? So we have the given number of workers. A is equal to 15 workers, C is equal to N, which is the unknown value. Time spent, B is equal to 7 days, and D is equal to 3 days. Using the mathematical statement, we have, and using the given, this will be our mathematical statement. N over 15 workers is equal to 7 days over 3 days. So from the mathematical statement, we set up the formula. N over 15 is equal to 7 over 3. We cross multiply 3 and N, and then 7 and 15, which is 105. So the product is then divided by 3 to find N. So that's N is equal to 105 over 3. And the result would be N is equal to 35 workers. As more workers are there, time reduces. Hence, the number of workers and the number of days is inversely or indirectly proportional. Lastly, we have partitive proportion. which is also called proportion by parts, describes a whole amount being divided or distributed into two or more unequal parts. Illustrative example 1. Christina wants to donate her collection of figurines to her 4 friends in the ratio 2:3:4:5. She has a total of 98 figurines. If her best friend wants the greatest number of figurines, how many figurines will she get? We see that the whole collection of figurines is being divided into parts represented by X and distributed to them with specified ratio. Setting up the partition, we obtain. So from the given, let X be the constant number of figurines. So we will have 2X is equal to the number of figurines for her first friend, 3X the number of figurines for her second friend, 4X the number of figurines for her third friend, 5X the number of figurines for her fourth friend, her best friend, which will receive the most number of figurines. So 98 is the total number of figurines. Mathematical statement would be 2x plus 3x plus 4x plus 5x is equal to 98. From the mathematical statement, we set up the formula as 14x is equal to 98. To get the value of x, we divide 98 by 14 and we get 7. Since Karen's best friend wants the most number of figurines, represented by 5x, we substitute the value of x by 7. Multiply it by 5, so we get 35. So Karen's best friend will get 35 figurines. In the problem, the total number of figurines is partitioned into the ratio of 2:3:4:5, thus making use of partitive proportions. Illustrative example 2. A rich father donates his estate to his 3 sons on a ratio of 2:3:4. If his estate is worth 24 million pesos, how much will each receive? So this is the given. Since the ratio is 2:3:4, let x is equal to the unit share. Therefore, 2x is the share of the first son, 3x would be the share of the second son, 4x would be the share of the third son. Writing the mathematical statement, we have 2x plus 3x plus 4x is equal to 24 million pesos. From the mathematical statement, our formula is 2x plus 3x plus 4x is equal to 24 million. 9x is equal to 24 million. X is equal to 24 million over 9. X is equal to 2,666,666.67 pesos for one share. To find the share of each children, we will multiply the value of x to each quantity in the ratio. That is, 2x equals 2 times 2,666,666.67. The result will be 5,333,333.34, the share of the first son. 3x is equal to 3 times 2,666,666.67. It will give us 8,000,001 share of the second son. And 4x is equal to 4 times 2,666,666.67. It will give us 10,666,666.68 share of the third son. In the problem, the total estate worth 24 million is partitioned in the ratio of 2:3:4, thus making use of partitive proportion. Steps to problem solving. For example 1, we have direct proportion. A school buys 4 gallons of juice for 50 kids. How many gallons do they need for 75 kids? For the steps, we have to write the given and the unknown. Given gallons of juice, A is equal to 4 gallons, C is equal to X. Number of kids, B is equal to 50 kids, D is equal to 75 kids. Unknown is equal to the gallons of juice needed for 75 kids. And this will be our solution. Step 1, we have to write the mathematical statement using two equal ratios. So that will be 4 gallons over 50 kids is equal to X over 75 kids. Step 2, apply cross multiplication to find the unknown. So that will be 50x is equal to 300. Step 3, solve for the unknown represented by X. So X is equal to 300 over 50 and the result will be X is equal to 60. Step 4, draw conclusion. 60 gallons of juice is needed for 75 kids. And step 5, check your answer by substitution. So we will use the formula 50x is equal to 300. So that will be 50 times 60 is equal to 300. So 300 is equal to 300. Example 2, we have inverse or indirect proportion. If it takes 4 days for 5 painters to paint a building, how long will it take one painter working at the same rate to paint the building? So again, for the steps, we have to write the given and the unknown. Given, number of painters, A is equal to 5 painters, C is equal to 1 painter. Number of days, B is equal to 4 days, D is equal to X. So our unknown is equal to the number of days it will take one painter to paint the building. For the solution, we have step 1, write the mathematical statement using two equal ratios. That's 5 painters over 1 painter is equal to X over 4 days. Step 2, apply cross multiplication to find the unknown. So that's X is equal to 20. Step 3, solve for the unknown represented by X. X equals 20. Step 4, draw conclusion. It will take 20 days for one painter to paint a building. And step 5, check your answer by substitution. So that's 5 painters over 1 painter is equal to X over 4 days. Since our X is equal to 20, cross multiplying 5 and 4, that's 20, is equal to 20. Example 3, we have partitive proportion. A government agency plans to donate a collection of 9,140 books to 3 libraries in the ratio 1:3:5. How many books will each library get? So for the steps, again, we have to write the given and the unknown. Given, let X is the number of books, 2X is equal to the number of books in the first library, 3X would be the number of books in the second library, 5X would be the number of books in the third library, and the total number of books is 9,140. For the unknown, it will be the number of books each library will get. For the solution, we have step 1, write the mathematical statement. That's 2x plus 3x plus 5x is equal to 9,140. Step 2, add the 3 quantities in the ratio. It will give us 10x is equal to 9,140. Step 3, divide the sum by the whole number, then multiply the quotient to each quantity in the ratio. So that's x is equal to 9,140 over 10. So our x is equal to 914. So 2x is equal to 2 times 914 is equal to 1,828. 3x is equal to 3 times 914 is equal to 2,742. 5x is equal to 5 times 914 is equal to 4,570. Step 4, draw conclusion. So first library will get 1,828 books. Second library will get 2,742 books, and third library will get 4,570. And step 5, check your answer by substitution. So that's 1,828 plus 2,742 plus 4,570 is equal to 9,140. Identify if the given problem illustrates a direct proportion, inverse proportion, or partitive proportion. Write your answer on a piece of paper. Number 1. Assuming housekeepers work at the same rate, how long will it take to 2 housekeepers to clean the entire house if it takes 4 days for 8 housekeepers to clean it? The answer is number 2. How much prize will each winner get if a cash prize of 45,000 pesos will have to be divided in the ratio of 1:3:5? The answer is number 3. Chris earns 25,000 pesos in 20 days. How much will you earn in 30 days? The answer is number 4. It takes 4 mechanics to repair a car for 6 hours. How long will it take for 7 mechanics to do the repair if they work at the same rate? The answer is number 5. An artisan bread maker uses 2,000 grams of flour to make 4 loaves of handcrafted bread. How many grams of flour is needed to make 2 loaves of bread? The answer is solve the following problems involving kinds of proportion. Number 1. When the IATF decided to place Puerto Princesa City in the Modified General Community Quarantine or MGCQ, 4 children decided to celebrate their parents' anniversary by eating out in an expensive restaurant. They decided to divide their expenses into a ratio of 2:3:4:5. How much each of the children pay if the cost is 7,406 pesos? And the answer is number 2. Sheila was a tour guide and was affected greatly by the COVID-19 pandemic. Since there were no local and foreign tourists in Puerto Princesa City, She decided to enroll herself in a short course for bread and pastry production. In her class, she has this recipe that uses 10 cups of flour for every 4 cups of sugar. If she wants to make a recipe using 8 cups of flour, how much sugar does she use? The answer is number 3. During this pandemic, a supply of food lasts for a week for 20 families. How long would the supply last if 3 more families have to be supplied? The answer is because we are done explaining all the information you need, let's summarize our lesson by answering another activity. Solve each problem by showing your step-by-step solution for each and identify the kind of proportion involved. You may pause this video while answering the problems. Number 1. 3 friends, Diane, Gis, and Beverly, put a capital to a coffee shop business at the ratio of 2:5:8 respectively. If the total capital amounts to 2,520,000 pesos, how much does each spend? And this is the answer. Number 2. Because of the very long vacation caused by the pandemic, people find ways to earn a living. Julia decided to sell lemonade drinks to her neighbors and friends. She uses 3 lemons to make 10 cups of lemonade drink. If she wants to make 50 cups of lemonade drink, how many lemons will she need? This is the answer. Number 3. During this pandemic, food provisions are given to families in each barangay in a certain municipality. If 60 persons can consume a certain amount of food in 2 months, How many months can 30 persons consume the same amount of food? And this is the answer. Young business enthusiasts, I believe you are now knowledgeable on solving problems involving direct, inverse, and partitive proportion. Before we end this episode, let us have a short quiz to measure if you attained our learning objectives. Go get your paper and pen and answer the following. Read each question carefully and write the letter of the correct answer on your paper. You may pause this video while answering the problems. Good luck, students! Congratulations for a job well done. You were able to finish the activities from the lesson in this episode. Hopefully, you have learned a lot and put your acquired learnings into practice by exploring the beautiful and amazing world of business math. Once again, I am Ma'am Diane. See you on more exciting and interesting episodes only here at Puerto Princesa Dream TV.